How y'all doing today? Today we're going to do a good little dinner. It's going to be for tonight. It started on this afternoon. I've been watching Larry over at the Wolf Pit in Troy, Space Cowboy Troy, and saw that they did a prime rib roast. Whole prime rib. The difference being, like a ribeye is sliced up and then you cook it. You take the whole prime rib roast and you cook it at once, whole cut. And you can call that prime rib. You slice it after it's been cooked. So I went and got one. I'm going to cook for about 6 people tonight. Let me show you. I got, mine's not very big, but this is a it's about a 6-pound roast here. Okay, this is it's 5.89 pounds. USDA choice beef ribeye roast, and this is what we're gonna make the prime rib out of. Before we went to church this morning, I went ahead and set it out in the refrigerator because you want it to come down to room temperature before you cook something like this. This thing's got to cook so it'll cook evenly and cook correct. So we're going to get started here. We're going to put kind of a rub on it and crust it with some salt and different things. Then we're going to bake it in a real hot oven for a short time and then just let it ease on into temperature. So y'all stay with me. First, what we're going to do, I've got some softened butter here. This is butter that I just let sit out and get real soft. It's about 1.5 sticks. Add some seasoning to it. I've got some herb de Provence, and you can get that in the grocery store. It's just basically basil, marjoram, thyme, sage, and rosemary. This is how you spell that in case there. You can buy that. It's just a mixture. A little steakhouse seasoning here I like to use is basically a little pepper, salt, garlic powder, a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I got about 1.5 sticks of softened butter. I'm going to pour all that in there. We're just going to mix that up. And this is what we're going to spread on the prime rib roast. So we'll just get this all mixed in, make almost like a compound butter. It's going to be real good. Get it all nice and mixed up here. We're going to put that on the roast. So, this particular roast here, I bought bone out. He cut the bone out for me. You see it has excellent marbling in there. Really, really nice looking piece of meat. What we're going to do is we're just going to spread this butter mixture on the outside. Okay, get everything nice and coated. Now my dad made one like this the other day. His turned out beautiful. I'll maybe include some pictures of his in. He didn't use this butter rub technique. He just coated his with olive oil and put, what did he put on there? Kosher salt and black pepper. But I, went and, as I always do when I make something new, I compare several recipes, and to me, this sounded really good. You take this and put all these herbs and stuff in here, and get this butter, this compound butter, because I know this stuff's wonderful on steaks. Just on like filet or something. If you put this compound butter on there after it's done, let it melt. I can only imagine how good it'd be on this roast. You want to make sure you get all sides of the roast, right? And it's got the strings tied around it. And if you see, that's where the bones were over here on this side. But I got the bones cut out. If you don't, you just need to cut the bones out after it's done cooking, or you could serve it with the bone. But since I'm having to cut this up so much into 6 little pieces after the cook, it was just a lot easier for me to serve it, or to cook it with the bone out. I want to get a good coating of this butter and these herbs on this thing. Even coat the sides here. Oh yeah, man, this smells great. It really does. You can smell this. It's really important now. Like I said, you want this room temperature, because if it's not going to cook right. It's going to burn on the outside. You'll never come to the proper temperature of what you need here. I think what I'm going to do, go ahead and get that. Look at that, that's beautiful. Alright, so get a little bit more over here, get everything evened out. What we want to do is I got some fresh cracked black pepper, just ground. I'm going to sprinkle it with some of this black pepper. Good little sprinkle of that. That black pepper's going to get some real good flavor in there. Put some of that on the ends too. There, you just want to get a good coating of that black pepper. Then we're going to come in with some kosher salt. And don't be shy with the kosher. We're just going to give it a good, it's just basically putting a salt coating on here. It's going to make a crust. And a lot of this crust, some of it's going to melt in, but a lot of it's going to, fall off as well too. And with these big kernels of salt like this kosher, this will be just fine. It's just going to give the meat some flavor. It's not going to, all seep in and make it too salty. You can watch, just about every prime rib video you see, they use, a lot of salt like this to really coat this thing down. Now, something you do not want to do is use just regular table salt, right? That's those small grains, that will melt down and you will get way too salty in your meat. So use the kosher, pack it in about like that, flip it over, we'll do the other side. Now that you've got your salt crust on both sides and everything, I'm going to transfer it in a roasting pan and we'll insert a temperature probe. So you want to insert your temperature probe in the very center and make sure it gets in the very center of that roast, and we'll kind of gauge it. My finger right here, I think that'll be the center. Okay, so a gauge is going to be about that deep. And there, well, maybe a little bit more shallow, maybe about like that. It'll be the very center. So I'm going to go down here, the angle, put into right here. Alright, that should be the very center of that roast with this temperature probe. You really got to have one of these. Any kind, or you could, if you just got one of those push-in thermometers, put it in there. But this, I've got a little electronic one. So I've got my oven preheated to 500 degrees. We'll stick this in the oven, preheated to 500, let it sit in there for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to turn it down to 250. Just watch. So what I got it put in the oven, 500 degrees. Got my thermometer over here, and we're going to let that roll for 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer up here. And once that's done, I'm going to cut this back down to 200. We'll probably let it roll at least about 3 hours until our temperature in the center comes to 130. So see, it's at 63 now. I've set the alarm for 130. When that temperature hits 130, we know we're good. But first we're going to let it go, like I said, for 10 minutes on that 500, and then we'll cut it back to 200. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Go ahead and turn my timer off up here. We're going to kick our heat down. 500 all the way to 200. And that's where we'll ride out the rest of the cook. $200. Let it bake until it comes to temperature. Should take a few hours. By the way, at this point, whatever you do, don't open that oven, no matter what. No peeking in there. You gotta let it cook that 200 steady, coming down from that 500. Okay, so my alarm went off on the timer. It's been a few hours. Don't worry about how long it takes to cook. It's all about to the temperature. So I'm gonna take it out the oven. We're going over to my brother's house with it, so I'm gonna pack it in a cooler. I'll let it rest and kind of keep warm on the way over there, and then we'll cut into it. So here it is here. Look at it. It's beautiful golden brown on top and on the sides. I'm going to wrap it in some foil, get in the cooler, and I'm going to take it over there. So I'm going to just put this thing down in the cooler here, seal it up, and then we can go on with it. And you're ready to slice it. Okay, I'm over here at brother's house, and I'm going to make a little dipping sauce for the prime rib. Basically what you want to do, you want to get your horseradish. You want to get some nice horseradish that doesn't have, it's not just prepared. Well, it's prepared, but it's, nothing, no other ingredient besides horseradish and vinegar in there, basically. You don't want to get stuff with mayonnaise and junk already in it. I'm going to put about 2 nice tablespoons of this horseradish in this bowl. Alright. Then I'm going to go to sour cream. Wash the spoon off here. And about a nice heaping tablespoon of sour cream. Like that. You want a little bit of mayonnaise.
Right on that.
Like that there. Okay. You want to add a little Worcestershire. Okay. And we're going to just mix that up. What that's going to do is going to make a good cold dipping sauce. We're also going to serve an au jus with it. This is a good, really good cold dipping sauce. It's going to have some kick to it. For the prime rib. It's going to be some good stuff. Here's the roast. Over here we have terrible light in the kitchen, so I'm just going to cut into it on the side. Now, look, if you have excessive salt and stuff like that, you can kind of scrape that off. You don't have to eat that. But that was mainly to lock the juices in and everything. So let's cut in over here on the side. Man, this thing is tender as can be. Let's just see how it is as far as temperature. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Perfect. See that perfect, just slightly pink in there. Let's give it a taste. Go ahead and I'm just cut a little chunk off the side here. And we'll give it a taste test. It looks absolutely fabulous to me. Look at that. Man, oh man, that is some tender stuff. Let's give it a try. Oh wow. Amazing. Tell you what, that's some A1 stuff there. Gotta try that prime rib recipe. Oh, by the way, we're drinking some of this Sweetwater Blue beer here from Louisiana. Well, it's made in Georgia. You can get in Louisiana. Real good stuff. Perfect little pairing here for this prime rib. We're serving it up now. We're serving this prime rib with some green beans, mashed potatoes, some purple oil peas. Oh man, and do we? We also are going to do, of course, that cream sauce I talked about, but I got some au jus over here, just rolling with it. Oh, it's going to be some good stuff. All right, everybody, sitting here eating the prime rib. See how it turned out here. We got it. Well, we got a couple of au jus. We got over here.
I love you. Oh, he's laughing.
And this is
I love you.
you got the babies here too. This little Catherine Faye. She's eating a little a little bread. And we got baby Brandon here.
Hey.
My nephew. Look at this. He's just having a time.
Cute.
All right. We're all enjoying this. Yes, prime rib. Great little recipe.